Welcome, everybody. Very glad to have you here. We're here, as you know, to talk about AI Copilot. We're very excited about this. We've been building this for a while. We just released it. It still has that new car smell. It does a lot of cool things. People are doing some fun things with it. Zach has a really nice demo lined up for you, so you'll see it in action. But first, we're going to set the stage and give you some context around what is it, why did we build it, and who is it for. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and share some slides with you. We'll walk through the agenda, just make sure you know what to expect today, and then we'll get into it. All right, so can you see my screen? I'm gonna take
Yep,
that.
we can. Yep.
All right, so agenda for today, AI Copilot. We'll talk a bit about what it is, where you can find it, how you use it, how are people using it today, what sorts of prompts, what sorts of applications are people finding for it, who's it for, who can access it, uh, what sort of plan do you need to be on. As I said, Zach will give a live demo. You're going to see it right here on screen during the webinar, and you'll be able to ask some questions. Blake is here. He's one of our expert CSMs. He's here to field your questions. He'll be monitoring the chat. And after Zach concludes the demo portion, Blake will go ahead and surface some of those questions. If you have questions during the demo at any point, including right now, please just go ahead and drop them in the chat. There's also a Q&A tool. So you can just drop your questions in. Don't hold back. Don't be shy. We will go ahead and get to each of them in turn once we conclude the demo portion. And then after that, we'll give you a little sneak peek of what's on the near horizon. Because AI Copilot is very cool and very capable, but it's just the first step in a list of very exciting upgrades that are coming your way pretty shortly. So that said, what is AI Copilot? So in a nutshell, contract review is a pain. When you're looking for things in document, you're looking for clauses, you're looking for defined terms, you have to do a lot of scrolling. You have to keep hitting Control and F, Command and F on a Mac. Uh, you have to remember exactly how the thing you're looking for is phrased. So how is this clause labeled in this agreement as opposed to that agreement? How does the individual clause language differ? You're trying to match word for word, and just remember all the different ways you might need to type this in order to find it. So it's just a pain to try to find things. And then when you do find what you're looking for, you usually have to parse through a bunch of dense legalese, even if it's a relatively quick answer. So all the notwithstandings and the whereases, and you're just trying to find out, well, come on, I just want to know what are the payment terms? What are the deadline? What's the deadline to pay this invoice? So in a nutshell, we built AI Copilot to take that pain out of contract review. So you don't have to go digging through each of your contracts, scrolling all the way through the document, trying to remember what was the clause number in this contract for this clause. You can just get straight to it. Um, you can ask in plain language and get an answer in plain language about what you're looking for. And one of the cool things is that it's not just, and you'll see this in action, it's not just regurgitating the clause for you. Let's say you have, a clause is often going to be spliced between 5 different subclauses, and then you also need to scroll back to the defined terms section and look up a couple defined terms just to make sense of the whole thing. With AI Copilot, you can just get a quick summary of the entire thing. So all of your payment terms, the entire indemnification clause, whatever you're looking for. You can just locate it really quickly, make sense of it really quickly. And so in another way to think of it is Copilot is solving the I just want to fill in the blank. I just want to know fill in the blank problem. So I just want to know when we have to pay this invoice. I just want to know how to cancel this contract. And so with that said, Zach, um, we've talked about what Copilot is. Where do we find it? And how do we use it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll show it to you in just a second, but inside of Concord, it's in our document view currently. That's where it lives. So it's up at the very top right in the document view in Concord. You just simply click on those 3 little stars that you see there, and that takes you into the actual Copilot screen. As far as who can use Copilot, anybody who has AI enabled on their Concord plan. Pretty much any of our newer customers would have that ability, as well as anybody who has upgraded their Concord plan, to be AI enabled. If you do not have AI on your plan yet, please feel free to reach out to myself or to Blake, and we're happy to help you with that conversation and figure out what we need to do to get you onto that plan. But yeah, that's where it's at.
Fantastic. So, what are we seeing? Because we just launched this, like I said, it still has that new car smell, but we're already seeing a lot of usage, a lot of people getting into the app and getting their hands dirty. What kinds of prompts are they using? What kinds of use cases are they coming up with?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of stuff. Every day I see probably 5 or 6 new prompts when I'm on calls and people have new ideas and questions. We're seeing a lot of just general contract review, summarize terms for me, summarize payment terms. I had one come up yesterday where somebody actually they had like a 60-page contract and they wanted to write a simple deal summary for their executive team. So they asked the AI Copilot, Concord Copilot, to just do a quick deal summary, which it did, and then they took that, copied it, and then pasted it into a different document. So I'll actually show you how that works. But I thought that was a really great usage of AI. Basically, you have this massive document, this massive contract, and I want to write a quick summary so I can get approval by my executive team. Boom, it's just going to spit that out for you. Blake, what have you seen? What are some examples?
Yeah, I like in your example how it's like, it's a big contract that people don't have time to read. So I have some customers that like, they have like 60-page documents, 100-page documents in here, and they're really just coming to look for one thing. It might not be something that they want to record on the summary panel, but they want to like find it. Like, hey, like actually my wife used it the other day. She was like, hey, where's the section that talks about my intellectual property rights, right? And it summarizes that, or tell you, where's this section? I also like that that our customers are refining their information too, right? Like, hey, tell me a general summary about this. Okay, tell me some more about it too. So it's not just like basic information about your contract, but you can even drill down a little bit more. So yeah, I think they're doing it in some cool ways. I like to say that they're almost, they're finding the needle in the contract haystack a lot of times with the AI.
Yeah,
Yeah, I,
that,
I think just surfacing information is the
Yep.
most powerful part of it for sure. Yep.
yeah, no, that's really cool to hear. And Zach, I love your example where they're not just retrieving this or that clause; they're actually, reverse engineering a term sheet from the entire contract. So it's really taking all this information in the agreement and turning it into something actionable and practical with a minimum amount of effort. So
Yep.
fantastic. So one more question before we jump into the demo portion. Who can use Copilot, Zach?
Um, like I said, anybody who has an AI enabled plan with Concord is going to be able to use the Copilot. So right now, and the great thing about that is you don't have to be a lawyer to use it. So you don't have to be someone who's trained in law. Cheskino has his law degree. That's great. I don't, I'm just a sales guy. But I can go in there and I can surface some pretty powerful information about a contract just by, asking it the right questions. And I think that's the cool thing about it is anybody can use it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's fantastic because even when you're a lawyer, like I said, it becomes a pain, like parsing through all of that legalese and the whereases and the notwithstandings and notwithstanding anything said elsewhere in this contract. So just let's get to the point. What does the contract actually say? So with that said, I think this is a perfect time for me to stop sharing my screen. And Zach, go ahead and take us to the demo environment, please.
Absolutely. And I do see the questions that are coming in. We'll tackle those here in just a second. I see a few questions there already. What I want to walk through is a few of the different use cases that you can use this Copilot with. We're also going to talk about the future state of the Copilot, which is going to be here sooner than we realize. I'll talk about that a little bit too. But let's first focus on kind of what we can do with it today. So to do that, I'm going to upload a document, and there's actually I showed this earlier on the webinar today, and there's a lot of people that didn't even know this was possible. If you didn't know, with Concord, we have a drag and drop feature into the inbox. This was released, I think, about 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago. And so you can now drag and drop documents directly into your inbox to upload them into Concord, and you can also upload them in bulk. So if you want to like select 5 different documents, 15 documents, and drag and drop them in, it actually works incredibly well. Once you import them, you can choose what stage they're going to be in. So I'm going to go ahead and do those as signed documents, and then I can just upload them. So something most people probably don't know about because it's not super discoverable in the system, but that is a cool way to get documents into Concord. So I just uploaded this document here, and they're going to go to the top of your inbox there when you upload them. So this is a document that was just uploaded. I first want to talk about what we're doing with documents when we bring them into Concord. Just for a refresher, if you haven't seen this before, the first thing that happens upon doc upload now is we're going to give it a title based on the file name. We're also going to create that OCR copy of the document. And that's incredibly important because that's what we're using for the AI extraction and for the Copilot. So here inside of the revisions, you can go to the OCR version. Which is just a straight text copy of the actual document. So if you upload a scanned image or a text PDF, we're going to convert that using the OCR, and that's what we're actually using to leverage the AI in the system. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to fill out all of our data here using the AI extract. So it's going to pull out agreement category, doc types, parties. It creates that description for you, lifecycle data, and then also the total agreement value. So that data is going to get pulled for every contract that you upload or that you have inside of Concord. Whether you're signing it through our system or if you signed it somewhere else, doesn't matter. It's going to pull that for you. But the feature that we're talking about today is the Copilot. So this is the Copilot. It's at the very top, as you can see here, and it is the first thing that will pop open when you come into any document view. So I can come in here and just simply ask it to summarize the payment structure and obligations for me. So the Copilot's going to review the document, and it's going to give me a nice response based on that. Great. So we now have that quick overview of this document. To be honest with you, this is a very simple contract. This is just an order form for Salesforce. So there's not a lot of meat to this. I am going to jump to a document that's got a lot more to it. But if I also wanted to come in here and say, hey, review the parties involved and what are their responsibilities, it can do those simple tasks. So anyway, that's kind of the light mode. Let's jump into a more beefy contract that's got a lot more text to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do third-party paper upload. So let's say that one of your vendors, customers, prospects, whoever, they send you their contract. They're like, hey, we need you to work on this and review this. As you know, in Concord, of course, you can just simply upload that into the system. I'm going to use our doc builder because whenever I don't, people slap me on the wrist because that's how most people use Concord. So I will go into doc builder here. There is this drop down option that you can enable as well, which I prefer. It's the way we used to do things at Concord a long time ago, but you've got both options. So I'm going to come in here to my doc builder. I'm going to go draft and sign, and I'm going to upload a document from outside the tool. And I'm going to put that in live document mode so that we can actually work on that inside of Concord. At this point, I can add signers if I wanted to. I can put that into a folder. I can say who it's with, all these different things. You've got lots of different options as far as what I want to do with that contract. But at this point, I'm just going to click create document and turn that into a contract in Concord. So as soon as I get that document here, if I'm the person that's been tasked to review this, maybe kind of see what's in it, I can do that. So once again, I'm going to go into my Copilot. I'm going to ask it to tell me what the risks are that are associated with this specific agreement. I'm just coming over to my other screen so I can grab a few prompts here. And you're going to see the Copilot is going to give us some great information there.
Yeah, I think that's a good example that might kind of touch on one of the questions we have recently in the chat. And now, by the way, as Zach said, we're going to get to all of them, but I kind of just saw this one where they're asking, is there a way to have the tool call out where a contract may have concerning or missing terms / sections or ways to improve the agreement? Like, absolutely, right? So currently it lives in this side panel. So, we won't interact with the actual document yet. Maybe let's stay tuned sort of piece there, but absolutely, right? We do want this to be able to help you draft your agreements and give you some insights as well. So to that, I would say yes, like they're to kind of what Zach is using here does have that ability.
The other thing that's cool, absolutely, Blake. The other thing that's cool is for our longtime Concord users, you can now extend the side panel, which is brand new. So we never had that before. So you can actually pull that out if you want better access to the responses here. This is my laptop screen. I do have a much larger monitor as my other screen, and this actually is pretty awesome on there because I have tons of room. But anyway, so that's an option. I'm going to give it a different prompt here. I'm going to ask it, are there any ambiguous or unclear terms in this contract that should be clarified? So we'll see what it does as a response here for us. So once again, just a few seconds to analyze, and then it'll give us that response. Cool. The other thing that we can do is we can ask it where in this contract certain things are. So let's say indemnity clause, and it's going to give us a response for that. There you go. Are there any prompts? So we're going to open this chat up for everybody where you can ask us, or if you have any prompts you want me to put into the system here and ask it, feel free to do that in the chat. That's one thing we can do. Otherwise, I can just start answering some of the questions here as well.
Well, we
Did I
have
see?
one that sort of
Okay, go ahead.
touches on like, does AI have trade specific training, for example, healthcare? Zach, do you want to take that one now?
Yeah, let's talk about what's actually happening here and how it's working. I kind of skipped over that a little bit. So what's happening here is we are using Gemini 2's latest model. So that is the LLM that we're using on the back end. So Gemini 2 is created by Google. We're using that on the back end to actually power this. We are giving it custom prompts that are designed specifically for contract review and for, agreements. So there is some prompting happening on our side. It's not like just Gemini 2 out of the box. It is something that we are prompting. And for example, if I were to come in here and ask it, what is the weather like in San Francisco? It's actually going to tell me that it's not going to give me that response. And that's because we do have it tailored specifically for contracts. So if you're trying to use it like a chat GPT and just ask it random questions, it's not really designed for that. It is designed to work specifically with agreements. So a question here, can the essentials list under the document summary tab be generated automatically with AI? Can the lifecycle be, yeah, so those are, and then also, can the lifecycle be automatically generated after the contract's been signed? Yes, that automatically does happen. So that is what we call the summary sheet data here. And as soon as the document is signed in Concord, or as soon as we upload a contract that is already signed, that data is going to automatically extract. So it's going to give you that doc summary, the description. It's going to give you the category, the parties, the lifecycle details, and then the total agreement value. So all of that will be extracted automatically using our AI extraction.
Yep. Another question here, and by the way, if it seems like I am cherry picking questions, it's because we will get to all of them, I swear, but some of them we're planning on getting to later. But one here asks for, do results provide citations to vet their authorities? At this current moment, it is not, right. We're like Zach said, we're using Google Gemini, and with all like sort of AI tools, you should vet the information and verify that that it's accurate. However, it's not currently like citing, I guess, where it's finding it, right? Any other, right, Zach, any other details
You
there?
can ask it to cite things. It will give you like articles and places if it's like general law or things like that. You can ask it to do that, and it's pretty good about that. I would say for the most part, when you're asking it to do like contract summaries and things like that, it's going to be a lot harder for it to tell you where all that information is pulling from because it's in the contract. It's more of just summarizing. But yeah, you can always ask it to cite if you want to. So, yep.
Yeah, and that's something we actually saw earlier today where if you're just trying to locate a clause, it's great at just pointing you to where in the agreement. And we see on the side, right? It'll tell you where it is, how it's labeled. So if you just want to find something really quickly in the document you uploaded, it's great for that.
Yep. Let's take this other question. Does it offer the ability to apply a playbook to terms and negotiations? So I love that question. It does not currently do that, but that is where we're headed. So the idea, the way it works right now, it's in basically, it's not in memory mode. So I don't know if you've used like ChatGPT or Gemini. If you have your own personal account, it's going to learn from you. So it's like it knows. It's kind of creepy a little bit, but it knows like how many kids I have, where I live, like all these things because I've asked it all these different questions. You can turn that feature off, by the way, if you want to. And so the idea in the future is, do we want to enable that to where as you start working with the Copilot, it's going to learn the things and the ways that you want to work and the provisions that you want to have and the governing law you need and all those types of things, which is really that playbook, right? So you can kind of teach it your playbook. Hey, these are the things that we want in the system. This is when we're negotiating a contract, these are the things we care about. And then the playbook can act accordingly. So the idea right now, no. Right now, everything is, as soon as I leave this page, all that chat is going to go away, like all the responses. But in the future, we do want to enable that to where it can start learning from, how you're using it for sure. There are not hyperlinks to locations in the document now. It's right now you can ask it where things are and it'll tell you the section, but it doesn't hyperlink anything. Yeah, good question. So your other questions here, James, about being able to search across the entire database. So that is the future state of the Copilot. So right now, this is document level only. That was our first release, and this has been out for about a week and a half now. The next release of this is going to be the system-wide Copilot. So instead of doing that in the document here, you'll be able to access the Copilot in your inbox view and other places in the system. And that way you can ask it to search all of the contracts in the entire database. You can have it build reports for you. You can have it surface all contracts with certain clause language in them or certain liabilities or whatever. It's really cool. It's extremely powerful. And that's really the future of Concord, is having AI enabled across the entire platform. Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you one other cool use case. Because I talked about it earlier, I'm going to have the system create a deal summary for me, the Copilot. Can you please create a deal summary for my executive team? So where this is pretty cool is, yeah, you've got this big contract. We need to be able to take this up and get an approval for it. Maybe you want to do a cover sheet or a quick deal summary. And so it's going to come in and create that for me. And of course, it didn't do it when I asked it this time. Let's see.
But it's asking, it's asking you for the
It's
things
asking
that would be
more
helpful.
questions, yeah,
Yep.
for sure. And this is a different contract than I used earlier. That's why it's asking for more. It's a bigger contract.
And Zach, did you use the phrase term sheet when you asked this morning?
Oh, you're right. I did use term sheet. You're absolutely right. With pricing as the key factor. Okay. Yeah, and it's gonna ask you, like, do you care more about the risk, the pricing, the obligations, or responsibilities? Because obviously that's gonna change what it's gonna, come up with. And there's your term sheet. I mean, it's pretty cool. You gotta admit. It's pretty powerful technology.
Anybody else have any questions? If I'm correct, I believe we've answered everything in the chat and the Q&A. Don't hesitate to go back there and ask more. We have a little bit more to present sort of on the future of Concord, but definitely go in there if you have any other questions that we haven't answered yet.
Yeah, and then I just wanted to show you the copy paste. So you can click on this button and that copies the response. So what I could do is actually come into a new document in Concord. I'm just going to go blank document, and then I could actually just paste that into this new document. Title it term sheet, and we now have a term sheet for that agreement. And for those of you that are longtime Concord users, I'm sure you know this, but what we would recommend is you would come in here to your summary sheet, you would go to your document linking, and then you would link that back to the main agreement that we just came from. That way you have your term sheet, you have your contract, and you can link them together in the tool. So, and obviously you don't want to tweak this. It's got like the response in it and stuff. You would clean it up a little bit. But I think it's just really cool to be able to take it from a contract that you have in the tool. It's going to analyze risk for you. You can turn it into a term sheet. You can do all sorts of things with it. Do we have a new question here? Let's see. Yes, that's another great question. So did you answer that, Blake?
Nope. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so as far as the ability to make changes or red lines in the document using the Copilot, yes, that is another thing that we are planning to do. So that gets a little bit trickier because then we're actually messing with the document itself. Some lawyers are happy with that, some are not. I'll be honest with you. I've heard lots of feedback. So it's something that we do plan to do. It's going to be obviously optional. You don't have to turn it on for everything. But the idea would be system does the initial analysis. It can do that based on your playbooks, and then it can give you initial markup that you can either accept or you can come in and make tweaks to it. So yeah, that is where we're heading with the system. We're trying to automate this as much as possible. We're trying to roll out AI to every piece of the system to just make your life easier. We're not trying to replace anyone here. It still needs to be lawyers driving this, or it still needs to be contract managers managing your agreements. But this should just make your life a lot easier to get that work done. So. Great. Blake or Cheskino, any other thoughts here?
Yeah, we just have one last question in the chat. That's what is the time frame for some of the future functionality? So we don't have anything that we can communicate officially here. The good news, it's coming soon, right? With the first, Zach, if I'm not misunderstanding, is the repository level. Is that how you understand it as well?
Yeah, so we have the system-wide Copilot, we're calling it, and that's going to be released in the next 1 to 2 months. So I don't quote me on that, but we're basically a few months away from the system-wide Copilot. It could be a little bit sooner than that, but that's what we're looking at right now. So we do already have it in beta. Some of our team members are testing it out. So yeah, we have an awesome development team here at Concord. We have an awesome AI team, and they're doing a good job to build it.
All right, this is great. Lots of great questions. We are close to the end of the half hour, so I'm actually going to go ahead and share a couple more things just to make sure
Oh,
everything goes.
yes, there we go.
Yeah, and I will share my screen. So thank you, everybody. Fantastic questions. This has been a very informative session. All right, can you see my slides? So
Yes.
all right, fantastic. So if you are ready to take the next step and learn some more, if you are an existing customer and you're already on an AI plan, it's as simple as just opening up any document and asking some questions. Just like Zach showed you, just click on the sidebar, open it up, and ask away. If you're a customer and you are not on an AI plan, please get in touch with us. You can get in touch with Blake, reach out and just talk to us. We're happy to take care of you. You're in good hands with our CSM team. If you are not on a customer, you can scan this QR code right here on the slide to book a demo. You will talk to Zach or Quincy, our expert salespeople, and they'll be happy to walk you through, just like Zach just did, walk you through how Copilot works, how Concord works in general, and see how you can use it with your team. So, and I believe, did we drop a link into the chat as well?
Yeah, I
All
just
right,
put my meeting link and my direct email in there. I see a few people on this call that have not purchased Concord yet. You're working with me already. Just shoot me an email if you have questions. Happy to help you with that. If you are a current Concord customer and you don't have AI, shoot me a quick email. I can talk to you about how we can get that enabled for you. Or you could reach out to Blake, either one of us. And yeah, we're just looking forward to getting everyone on this new platform and getting you all these new features. So definitely.
fantastic. And just a little peek, we already talked about AI Copilot and Platform View, but Zach, would you like to tell everybody about this? Is no longer near term, it's actually available now, but DocuSign integration.
Yeah, so for those of you that those of you that have been around for a while, we had an old DocuSign integration. Let's just be honest, it was not great. We completely rebuilt the entire integration from scratch. It is now a bi-directional integration between DocuSign and Concord. And we also have the ability to bulk upload documents from DocuSign to Concord as well. You might be asking yourself, well, why would you need this? Concord has their own e-signature, like you don't have to buy DocuSign. That is true. You don't have to use DocuSign at all. We have a great e-signature that's built in, but we do have a lot of customers who work in certain industries or certain company sizes where DocuSign is just a must for them. And so the great thing is we've taken the time to rebuild this entirely. It's a great integration. So if you could benefit from that, just let us know. It's most likely already available with your plan, and we're happy to help you set it up. So just let us know.
Fantastic. So thank you for that. So again, thank you to everyone who's attended. I realize we're a couple minutes over. Thank you, Zach, for a great demo. Thank you, Blake, for answering all those questions. If you have any more questions, please reach out. Zach and Blake are always ready and eager to help you. And we appreciate your time. So have a great day, and we'll hopefully hear from you soon.
Bye, all. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.